Microphone check. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is Trader Interviews. Real talk, real traders. All right, welcome back to Trader Interviews, everybody. I'm super excited to be with my guest today. So this guest in particular is exciting because my guest not only shares with me a love of the markets, but also, I'm just going to read you a couple lines, because whether it was selling Star Wars figures he collected as a little boy for 50 times their value, or using $125 of grass cutting money to buy a Michael Jordan rookie card, which, by the way, is the most amazing story of all time. I hope that you will tell me about that. You later sold that for $1,500. It was clear that Brian Bottarelli was a born trader, possessing the unique ability to identify opportunities and leverage your investments. Brian, I'm super excited to have you here on the show. Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, Rob, you bet. Like every time that I talk to you, it's almost like a good luck charm. I have like a big winner that I hit earlier that morning. So like, if you want to just have an interview every single day, man, I'm for it.
All right. So I want to get to that because you mentioned that a few minutes ago, and I can't wait to hear about that one. We might even kick off the whole thing with just a little bit of a story about what happened this morning. Everyone, if you're watching this, you've already got that free report, and we are going to talk about that a little bit later. Brian, thank you so much for letting everybody have a look at that free report.
The report's awesome. If people can kind of just like skim through that, they're going to have a pretty good sense of what we're going to talk about today, and it could make them like money starting like right now.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that most people don't give away. It's the kind of stuff that most people don't share. So we're super excited. We want to hear about how you got started in trading. I want to hear about the interview process when you had your first big job, but I want to hear about the win. So what's this about me being a good luck charm? What's this?
So the first time that we did an interview that morning, Urban Outfitters, like that retailer that sells, stuff that's sitting in your parents' attic for like 5 times the price that you paid. They were reporting earnings, and we had an overnight earnings play, which is kind of one of the trading methods that I use, and it was a 200% winner, like from the morning or the afternoon that we entered it to the following morning, and that was when we did the first one. We connected the first time. Now today we did a similar trade on Guess, the retailer, and what I like about both of these plays is that they have a very high short interest, which means a lot of traders are betting against that company. So when I see a high short interest percentage like that, I know that there's a potential for a big squeeze. So for example, if I'm short a stock, and obviously I think it's going to go down, well, if it reports earnings that are then good earnings or stronger earnings or even better than expected earnings, the stock starts to move up, and the shorts, of course, get freaked out and cover their position, which causes the stock to go up even more. And that squeeze is one of the most powerful triggers you can play as a trader. So that's one strategy that we do. We could dive into that more, but it happened this morning, and it happened on Urban the first time, and both of them were big winners.
I love it. That's just, I just love it. And folks, we're not even like 2 minutes into the interview, and Brian's already given you something that you stopped the interview right here. You read that report and you stayed in touch with Brian and you focused on short squeezes. I did this with GameStop a year ago or so. Same kind of concept. Everybody was like, GameStop's going out of business, or they're buying all their games online. And then, it just kept, and those shorts just felt that pain, and there was blood in the water. And so,
I mean, nothing makes Wall Street run more than when they think that they're going to be losing money. And if you can kind of like dive into the mind of that short seller and play that effect against them, it's great money. So the company doesn't even have to be like a strong company. So GameStop can, for example, lose less money than they thought. They're still losing money, but even if they lose less money, sometimes that squeeze goes up. So
yeah, that reminds me. I once knew a guy that won a trading competition by losing the least amount of money of all the participants in the competition, and he still got the prize. I thought that's impossible. How did that guy win that competition? Anyway, speaking of people who are great traders, and speaking of folks that outperform, how did you get started in trading? So this has been on my mind. I've only done my background research on you, so I know a little bit about this, but your background is super interesting to me.
Yeah, so I was trading out of my dorm room, like everyone else was in, 97, 98, 99. So I was interviewing in the business school, and I saw that a trading firm, an option trading firm, was interviewing. So I'm like, oh, that's perfect. I'll take that interview. So I went to the interview, and there's like 4 people in this tiny little coat closet, right? And they're all like, they were all out last night. They were all hungover. The one guy's just like sitting there, like spinning, drinking water. So I'm just like, what is going on here?
Are these people even taking this seriously?
Well, no, that's the thing. They weren't. They were there. What I've come to find out is they were there for one reason and one reason only. They needed to identify people who could make decisions fast. Okay. So I get in the room and they're just like, they just start popping questions at me left and right. One guy's just like, what's Compaq computer trading at today? And luckily for me, I knew because I own Compaq and it was down $3 that day. I'm like, oh, it's down $3. I'm actually pissed. And the guy, he turns out he was the Compaq computer trader of that firm, and he was pissed too. So we kind of like had a little bit of a connection. So they're popping questions off to me left and right. And the one guy with his head down just looks up and he's like, what's the longest highway in America? And I turned to him, I'm just like 37 South, which happened to be when you're driving down from Chicago, you get to Indianapolis, and then from Indianapolis to Bloomington, Indiana, I went to college in Indiana. 37 South is like the one road that connects you. And it's, to me, it seems like the longest road in America. And I knew that they were driving that same route. So he was like, yeah, that road did go on forever, didn't it? So like they kind of figured out that like they could pepper me with all these questions left and right. And I had quick answers to them. And really that was like their only determining factor. They're like, okay, great. Thanks for coming in. We'll let you know. And I'm just like, we didn't talk about a single thing that I thought related to business or trading or anything.
Yeah.
But they wanted to identify people who can make decisions fast on their feet and just like react quick.
And is making decisions fast on your feet, it's sort of related to not being intimidated by lots of information and questions or like circumstances changing or whatever, where they...
Sure. Yeah. Like what I learned, on the CBOE floor is like, that is the one determining factor. Well, there's many determining factors. That was one of the main determining factors that make a good floor trader. Because, on days that the Fed announces, or, a days that one of the companies that you're trading, has a earnings announcement or something, you have to be able to react quickly and make decisions quickly and decisively. And you have to be doing that just on the fly, second after second, to maintain profitability. And so like that to them, and they were smart in identifying that, like, we just want people who could do that, and then we will bring them in for a second interview.
Well, I want to hear more about the second interview, but I just wanted to follow up on that. Are these the same people that you ended up working with later on?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They each traded in a separate pit, and one guy kind of like was like the pseudo trainer of new option traders.
It's almost like they're interviewing you for character and not as much on skill. Like they're like, we'll teach you what you need to do, but we can't teach you. You've got to come ready to think on your feet. That's super fascinating. So what's the second interview like, or do they offer you the job on the spot?
No. So then they called me back and said, we want you to come onto the trading floor for a second interview. So I'm like, awesome, great. So I get there, and how they do it is each of these were like the higher, like the first guys were kind of like the entry level traders. And now you went to like almost like the more senior level traders. And you would just stand, like it would be the trading day would be happening. So I would be led to one guy in the Apple computer pit, for example. I would stand by him for, 2 or 3 minutes, and he just asked me random questions. And then I would go on to the next guy, and then to the next guy. And again, it was just like, you're crowded in this trading pit. You're talking to him, and then he just puts his hand up like, stop, has to fill an order. And then he's like, what were you saying? Like, it's really just intensified interviewing, like live on the CBOE floor. Yeah. So again, and I think they were just trying to weed out the people who could handle pressure and stay focused and stay locked in, and who can't. Like one of the guys, like, he's like, look at the floor. See where I'm standing? And it was kind of like a tile floor, kind of like, I don't know, like a foot by a foot, right? He's like, if you filled that section of floor with pennies, and it went up to the sky, okay, could those pennies exceed the height of the Sears Tower? And I kind of looked at it and I'm like, okay, if I, Sears Tower is 100 and some, I just estimated
Yeah.
143 stories tall, and I could more than 143 rows of pennies could fit on. So I'm like, yeah, totally, like easily. And I didn't know if that was the right answer or not. I mean, it turns out it was, but he's just like, all right, great. Good to meet you. What was your name again? Yeah, I'll see you later. And that was it. Over, right? So I think he just wanted to like see if I could quickly look down, calculate some question that there was no possible way that I could prepare myself for a question like that. He wanted to see if I could make an answer, make a logical answer, and tell him that answer. And I did, and that was it. He was like, great, this guy would probably be good. So I did that. I went through a number of different guys like that. And then like 3 weeks later, got the call. They're like, yeah, we want to offer you a job. I'm like, awesome. I love it. And so there we go. I accepted the job, and it was a CBOE trader trainee.
So do they eventually stake you and then you trade and then you keep a part of the portion of the profits or whatever? Is that how it works?
Yeah. So their business model was, we get a bunch of people who we've identified could become winning floor traders. We would bring them in. We would train them. So like it's a whole year of training.
Yeah.
So you go from DP like to trader to trader to trader. You have a bunch of mentors. I mean, I lucked out because our firm, we were the main traders in the Apple computer pit. So this was like Apple Computer during the .com boom. And, I didn't know at the time that Apple was like going to be the greatest company in the whole world. I thought, AOL was a huge name back then, Yahoo, Qualcomm. So
right.
but being in the Apple computer pit, like during the .com boom, like there's probably no other way that I just got lucky. It was a great situation. So they train you for a whole year. And then once you've kind of like graduated that training process, they would then, like you said, like give you a badge, stake you, and then put you in a pit, and you would start trading for the firm.
So the lessons you learned from trading in the pit, so it's super fast paced, it's intense, you're thinking on your feet, you're dealing with new information that's coming your way at a moment's notice. How does that kind of stuff transition? Like when you transition from trading on the floor to trading, you've made this transition so successfully. What are the skills that you learned that transferred over, or was it so different when you moved from the floor to trading sort of online?
No, I mean, there was a ton that directly translates. The one thing that comes to mind is like the most important thing that I learned was just attention to detail. Like you have all this information. You have this guy talking, this guy yelling, this broker screaming, this guy spilling his coffee over in the corner. And then you have your trader who you're clerking for just bought, 100 Apple computer, January 50 calls for $1.50. And you have to like block all that out, write down that, because at the time we didn't have like electronic trading. It was handheld computers. I was like writing the tickets down. So I had to get out the buy call ticket. I had to write it down. I had to like rip it off and hand it to the runner to go up. And we did that thousands of times each day. So I remember like early on, I wrote down, he bought calls for $1.50 instead of $1.15. $1.15, like it could be just not, I wasn't listening. I wasn't locked in. And it cost my trader $3,000. He's ripped into me, the whole pit, like, made fun of me the rest of the day. I was a total idiot. But like once I made that mistake and learned from it, it was like, that was it. I have to be just locked in all day and to attention to every single detail. And once I kind of like overcame that hurdle, then things started clicking, making sense more. And then it was almost kind of just like you're doing it just naturally in your sleep.
Is that where some of the strategies that you use now so successfully, some of the stuff that's in the book that people got a hold of before we did this, is that where those ideas started to form?
That was the kind of like those ideas were seeds that were planted during that time. And then in the years that followed, I've been able to kind of like adjust them, fine tune them, and tinker them in a way that it worked, like the trading works for me. Right. Yeah. I see like, behind you see this huge setup with all these screens, all these linking. I see a lot of people have that. And I admit it looks really cool, right? It looks like you really have your command center, you're the Death Star commander or whatever. But for me, like, I just need one screen with one chart because I know exactly what I'm looking for. And I know that I could find the setup that I want it's going to work consistently over not, a month or a year, like over a number, like decades.
Right. That's the dream too, right? That's the thing people want. People don't want to be fixed down to a workstation like this. They want to be able to take their family someplace and go
Sure.
do things that they want to do and fly somewhere and,
Yeah.
trade. I mean, it's not a pipe dream. It's like a real thing. You're a one computer screen kind of guy when you do this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I got a $5 calculator right here. I have my one screen, and great. I got a really good quote system, real-time quotes. That's super important. But
Yeah.
if you know what you're looking for, I guess the point is if you know what you're looking for and you could zero in on that, that's all you really need to look for to deliver winning, like consistent profitability day after day, year after year.
Well, that leads us perfectly into what I wanted to ask about. So, you mind giving us an example of maybe something that you traded recently? Maybe share your screen.
What we have here is one of the most powerful formations that I search for, scan for, track every single day. It's a W formation. So basically, this is a confirmation signal to me that the bulls are in control of a certain stock. So then I'll just kind of quickly walk you through this. So what you have here is a stock that's, let's say it opens the day up here where my cursor is, and then drops to support level 1, okay, S1. At this point, you have the bears pushing a stock down and the bulls supporting it and bouncing it up. This kind of bounces up to the kind of like the head, the middle of the W, where the bears then push the stock down. And once again, the bulls support it at support level 2, okay? So if the bulls support this again and bounce it up to here, right here, this free and clear indicator, this is kind of the make or break moment, okay? This is where the tug of war either is won or lost. If I see the bulls push a stock above this dotted line, this free and clear indicator, that's the indication to me that the bulls are now in control, and that was where I would make a trade, and I would trade it from here up to the tip, the beginning of the W, or even beyond. And that move right there is enough to make a 30% gain in a matter of minutes. So I can give you a real life example.
Yeah, that's great. What I love about this is that you're making the market bring the trade to you. You know what I mean? Like you're not trying to guess if it's going to bounce off the second support level. You're not like,
like I call it like a prove it theory or prove it method, right? Like prove to me, bulls, that you are in control of the stock. And then once you prove that to me, then I'm willing to make a trade. So here's what it looks like on my screen. Okay. So this is, I screenshotted this before this interview. You can even see like,
that's great. Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
So this actually just happened, right? So you have a stock that starts at 1760, bears push it down to the $16 level, 1590 thereabouts. Then bulls support it, jumps, kind of moves up to 1640, which once again, bears push it down to the second support level. So we have support level number 2 occurring right at around 16. So like, see that? Yep. Now, so here's our decision point. We have the bulls who push it back up, and here we are at 1640. This is like that free and clear, that dotted line that I showed on that last chart. Once I see this push above 1640, then I know that's confirmation for me that the bulls are in control. So I would be making a trade right here around 1650, and then I would ride it all the way up to 1770.
You know what's so great about that is that so many people feel like if they wait for the market to prove it, like you do, that they're going to miss out on a chance to profit. But what you're proving is that you can wait for the market to show you what it's going to do, and then there's plenty of the move left over. You're not you're not missing out on anything, and your risk reward is really well defined too, right? You're automatically doing a trade with a reward that's at least a couple of times bigger than the risk that you're taking.
Yeah. And the thing is, we don't want to get greedy. Like this move started at 1760 and, it got up to 1770. So like, we know that that's our exit signal right there. Right. That's a 30% gain in a matter of minutes. And then after selling, you see that it moved down again. So like, as long as you have your clearly defined, support and resistance, you have your defined definitions of where the stock is going, and you have confirmation that things are happening, like you could make money every single day doing this. So like, I kind of like,
Oh yeah.
Here I kind of just drew it. Here's another one that we played where the W would actually, extend in this case. So that can happen too. So the cool thing about this is, and I can get into this again, the W is for a bullish setup, but the same exact type of method can be also used on an M formation, and that's a bearish formation. So it's the exact opposite of the W. So again, you have a resistance level that's tested once, tested twice, and then when the bears push it down, there's your free and clear indicator again. That's when you would make your trade. So yeah, I mean,
that's awesome.
It's cool, and I think it's great. It's visually, I'm like a visual person, so visually it's so easy to see. And the thing about it is, W's and M's, stocks go up, stocks go down. We have a method that helps you profit no matter what.
You're prepared for the bear market whenever it does come, which seems like never. But by the time someone's watching this interview, maybe the bear market will be in full swing. And
the bear market will come, and when it does, we'll be ready because we have M formations.
I'm going to brag about your track record. I don't mind. I don't think you mind if I do that. I mean, you're not the kind of person to just get on here and brag, but I'm just going to read you some of these comments that I got as I did some background research on you. Don said, UPS August 7, 125 calls for $3. I sold them for $19.50. That's the biggest win of my trading life. That was a $16,500 win. How do you feel when somebody, we'll talk about the war room in a minute, but somebody in your war room, how does that make you feel when somebody in that room does that?
I love it. I love it when I can share what I've learned with other traders, and those traders use those techniques to profit like that. Like for me, it's something that I am incredibly proud of. And it kind of goes back to the CBOE even, like, because, I used to be on the floor, and then, when handheld devices were formed, or, people started getting technology, they didn't need to be on the floor anymore. So there were times where in the Apple computer we'd all be making money. Everyone's high-fiving each other. It's like the greatest feeling in the world. It's like you're one of those craps tables in Vegas that are red hot. Like everybody is winning, right? So on the CBOE floor, I had that, and that was like such a rush, right? There's no feeling like that. Well, as technology advanced, people didn't need to be on the floor anymore, so they just were trading from their computers, trading from their offices anymore, which is cool. But like when you're winning and you're like at your home office, like, yeah, I just made a big winner, I'm gonna high five nobody, right? Like it's kind of like a
who am I gonna share this with? Yeah,
it can be kind of like an isolated type of feeling. So that's kind of why and we can get into this in a second, that's why I created the War Room, to share those trades with people, and we could all benefit together. So
that is,
so UPS was an awesome winner. We crushed that, and so many people wrote in.
Yeah, so William Barnes, just a month ago, UPS up 937% on the trade. Thank you so much. Michael Van Gordon, straight killed it on UPS calls, woke up to a $7,563 gain. That's my biggest green day so far. I mean, imagine somebody who most people don't even make $100,000 a year, right? So like everybody's struggling to make ends meet, especially in times like this. And then somebody makes $7,000 in a day. I mean, I can imagine what that makes you feel like. Mike L picked up $6,000 after selling calls and puts on UPS. Great call on this one, Brian. Steven up over $3,000 on UPS. I could go on all day, which I am. Satyan, good morning all. UPS in at $3.03, out this morning at $14.90, 392% gain. Sterno up $12,000, sold my position. Lisa, this is the great one, from just a month ago, $21,000 in profit on a trade. That's like take the month off. I don't know, like, geez. Christopher Hall, I'm in on the August 7 call at $4.15, out at $18, 400+%. Larry M out with a 297% gain. Michael Kelly said, not bad, in at $3.04, out at $12.50, 268% return for a $10,000 profit. And it took him 3 minutes. I didn't think we shared this part about it. This was like a 3-minute trade for some of these folks. So it's one of those things where it's almost too good to be true unless I meet someone like you, and then I see your track record and I hear your story, and then Justin and I go into the background and find your members and actually look at what they're accomplishing. It's totally awesome.
Yeah, it's something that's very rewarding to me. I love doing it. It kind of like fuels me every single day, and just reading those examples, it just kind of makes me proud and want to do more.
And your track record for as of August of this year that we're talking right now, your track record is crazy. I don't know if I got this right, but I went through everything that your folks send over to me. 390 completed trades, 313 winners for an 80.26%. I'm into numbers. I'm a numbers guy. Gain since I call it the China virus. I know that's not politically correct. Okay, so since the virus on, the middle of February, late February, 324 completed trades, 265 winners for an 81.79% gain. I mean, this is, are those numbers, does that ring true to you?
Yeah, we're right at 80% trading accuracy. And then, a lot of people know what I do, and they ask me like, "Oh my God, like, are you okay? Like, how have you been doing during the pandemic ever since this market craziness?" For me, like, we do even better during times of market volatility because there's more movement, there's more things happening, there's more W's and M's. And if it goes up, great. If it goes down, great. We're going to trade it both ways. So that's what I love so much about trading. It's like, we don't need to be dependent on a bull market. We don't need to be dependent on a bear market. Like, whatever the market is doing, we have a method to profit off that and maintain daily profitability. So for us, and a lot of our members too, they're just like, man, I could sleep at night, even knowing that the Dow might drop 1,000 points or bounce 1,000 points. We're ready to go.
Yeah.
So that's been another equally rewarding thing for me, to see someone who would have been freaked out if they were on their own trading during this volatility, who is now like, man, I'm good. I'm sleeping at night and I'm making money. That's to me like that. That's the ultimate.
And with political events probably not calming down for the foreseeable future, with health related, who knows what's going to happen next. It's like more important than ever to have somebody that's been through and traded through chaos every single day. Like, that you're not intimidated by that. You're actually excited by it. It doesn't, on days where people are like, oh no, we're going to stay out. Like, we're totally not going to get involved. These are the days that you're the most excited.
Well, you asked earlier too about like one of the biggest takeaways from the CBOE. Like, I didn't know it at the time, but like, it was the .com bubble. So like, in many respects, that market craziness is how I like started to learn how to trade. So I thought huge moves up and down that's the norm. So when that's the environment that you learn how to trade in, carrying over to any huge market moving event that we see in the future, it's kind of like already I'm ready to go.
The question is going to be on everybody's mind at this point. So what is the War Room? And is there some kind of way for folks that are listening to this right now to get in there and watch these crazy markets together with you?
So the War Room's so engaging. It's what we've created, this portal where traders from all over the world wake up, log in, and we don't talk about politics. We don't talk about our kids. We talk about one thing and one thing only. We talk about making winning trades. So every day, everyone comes in. We all share ideas. We all kind of collaborate. I like this setup. I like this setup. And they kind of, I'm kind of like the tactician. So if I like a trade, I put a trade out, and I actually give you the buy alert. You get it on your screen. It kind of beeps up. You can get it right onto your phone if you want. Buy alert, sell alert, and that's how we've established that 80% track record that you mentioned. But it's kind of a way for everyone to come together, everyone to share ideas, and everyone to win in the market all together every single day. And there's some people who are there 8 hours a day. Some people just kind of log in for 15 minutes in the morning, make their one trade, make their $2,000, and then they're done for the day. They go golfing, or they go play tennis, right? So it's kind of like this interactive, live, real-time trading room where you can come whenever you want and make as much or as little money as you want every single day, and collaborate with some of the best traders in the world. And I'm kind of like the ringleader, I guess you would say, of that group.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like you've recreated this successful group of traders from the pit, and
Yeah.
you've done it virtually.
Yeah, that was kind of the inspiration for it. You know, I wanted to bring back that feeling of we're all winning together, and
Yeah.
we've done that.
So I don't want to put you on the spot, but is there some way that, I mean, is there some way we can get people I don't even know what we've arranged, a trial or some kind of thing that they can get into the war room and see what this is all about?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the type of person who is like, you know, I just showed you the prove it theory,
Yeah.
right? So that's kind of how I live my life. If someone says I'm better than you at basketball, fine, let's play one-on-one. I'm better than you at ping pong, great, let's play ping pong and prove it. So for me, when we've designed getting people to give the war room a try, I said, okay, you know, let's think about it this way. There's 365 days in the year, right? Strip out weekends, strip out market holidays, and it's about 252 live trading days that the market's open. So I say, if you come into the war room for 1 year, you're going to see 252 winning trades. It's a prove it theory, right?
Yeah.
Every single day the market's open, on average, we're saying if you come into the war room, you're going to get a winning trade. 252 over the course of 1 year. And you just said it's an 80% winning percentage. So we're going to stick to that too. That's it. Like I am willing to like put that on the line. If someone wants to come to the war room, 252, you'll see 252 winners in a year. And if not, you get a refund or a lifetime membership, whatever you want. Like I will put my reputation and my ability on the line. And I don't think anyone else would offer something like that, but that's kind of like my prove it theory that I could extend to your viewers as well.
I absolutely love it. There's nobody else that does anything like that in the business. So, folks, we'll put a link up here on the screen. I don't know how long that's going to be up there. I don't know how long Brian's going to allow that crazy guarantee to stick around. So if you have a chance, if you're watching this now, then you're lucky enough to see that link on the screen. Go ahead and give it a try and take that for a test. Brian, I can't say enough how grateful I am for your time. It's rare that we get a chance to talk to somebody who's got that experience from the pits, who's made that kind of money and who has this kind of a track record.
Yeah, Rob, I blink my eyes and like 30 minutes go by and it's an awesome conversation. And whenever you talk to me, I have big winners that I hit that morning. So whenever you want, man, you let me know.
I'm looking forward to the next one. I can't wait.
Me too.